To order. The roll call, well, I'll name everyone who's here. Carol Carey, John Marr, Linda, and Laura Robertson. I don't think we can approve the meeting minutes because we don't have a quorum. So next time we're gonna have to approve 3 sets of meeting minutes. Privilege of the floor, it doesn't look like there's anyone for that. So why don't we move right into new business? And Laura, that's the 2309 Knott Street.
Yeah. Oh, one thing, if you had any comments on the minutes, go ahead and email them to the office. And then we'll make a beautiful set to be approved at the next meeting.
Okay, yeah, I just had a couple typos.
Yeah, it's just to us line number and word, and we'll fix them and make it super pretty.
Okay. Okay, and John, I know you're good at looking at them too, so if you have any comments.
Yeah, there's a few.
I mean, you could just say, do you want to just say them out loud?
No.
You'd rather them email you? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we looked at this last time. This is the overview map that shows where we are in the plaza.
Yeah.
So here's the Starbucks. This is the old sort of TTBY Karma Bistro area. And the planting beds that they're talking about refreshing are these ones that are right in the sidewalk there. And there's a crosswalk like right there. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 plus the planting bed on the other side of the crosswalk. And I think at our last meeting, we wanted to drive by and just look and see if we thought we could fit a bigger tree, especially maybe on the side where they're just doing grass.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that we wanted to check was, which isn't on this plan, but what they planted over on this little strip of land, which isn't this applicant, but this,
Yeah.
yeah, this little guy
Far side.
over here. I'll put here. Yeah, I know. My thing is. Yeah, this. Yeah, so that's not part of this plan, but I know I mentioned to you guys that I think that they planted service berries.
Yeah.
I still think they planted service berries over there.
It looked like it.
Didn't you think, Carol?
Yeah. Yeah. No, when I went and looked at it over by Starbucks, it looks like there's a row of birch trees. And then on the opposite side is a row. I don't know what the other type of tree was.
Those are new. They planted them when they refreshed the Starbucks. I can't remember what they are.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what they are there, and they're definitely not birches, but well, I had a few thoughts. There were crab apples around the other parts of the plaza, so we could add more crab apples in the spots where they're looking for something, or extend the line of birch in the other tree.
Yeah, I think the crab apples that they planted like over here, they planted some new crab apples and they look really nice.
Yeah.
Like over here, Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the by where they're putting the ATM. They put in a bunch of new purple leafed crab apples. And they're really pretty.
But Amanda or John or anyone else who went by, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I was just would rather just before coming here. Yeah, that place you talk about putting a tree at, that's just like nothing right now. It's just a little nice big piece of grass that serves no purpose. I think you definitely should have a tree.
On the other side of the crosswalk.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Yeah. Right over in the parking lot. Would be.
Yeah, right here.
And then
Yeah, your one's small. Oh, really? This one? Right there, John?
Yeah. Yeah, that could definitely use a tree. It's very blah without it.
Yeah, and they're just proposing grasses there.
And there's no point in doing
And they're
grass.
right, so tree there.
Think of Leo.
Now we could take action on the minutes. Yes. Okay. We'll go back to those though. Okay, so definitely we want to require a tree in the
Even with this grass, they just have to be mowing that little spot for no real purpose.
yeah. So I'm gonna call it where
The WS crossing is.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
oh no, it's the other crossing actually.
yeah,
The spots marked here 10 and 11, on it, right?
Yeah, that's a good, I think that's how we'll say by,
well, it's
Yeah,
not
by
that
10,
all
11.
dying landscaping.
But there is grass in that's not dead, but really pointless.
So how
Okay.
many are we proposing altogether? How many trees?
so they're proposing 2 service berries. I think we should require, well, we're requiring another tree, right here. But this could be a big tree.
Yeah.
Like you could do a big tree here. I mean, I know we're not trying to put that many vehicles, but we could just call it a shade tree,
Yeah.
larger. So require a tree at 10 and 11 Island, large.
Could you plant an elm there? That'd be-
Yeah, you could totally do an elm there. We'll suggest an elm.
Yeah.
Okay, they're proposing service berries here and here, which I think would look really nice. Then they've got. Red twig dogwoods, and then inkberry hollies. Yeah. So these are proposed just to be shrubs and shrubs. So they've got a cluster of trees over here, and then 2 bigger shrubs, and then 4 smaller shrubs.
Can't they put trees in?
I mean, they could. I feel like they could.
They're concerned about blocking the sign.
That's the concern. They don't want to block the fence.
I could see this.
There's shrubs in that one with 4, what are they?
There's salvia right now.
You could do smaller shrubs though.
That look pretty good.
Yeah, they have well, some of them look good. But some of them are pretty full of the salvia. Oh yeah, so right now they're planning on planting a serviceberry tree in there and then replacing the salvia with the oats, with wood oats. But we could say maybe just plant the serviceberry tree and leave the salvia that's growing there. Rather than the wood oats. Yeah, Carol's froze.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's there.
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm looking at over on the other screen. I'd like to get as many trees as we could.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, if we look in the aerial, is there a tree on the other side? Like, could you do a tree, here and a tree over here?
I think you could, yeah. I don't know if they're not, didn't look over that far. But
I don't think it shows up on the aerial. It looks like it's just grass.
aerial, who knows how, yeah, that's the
That's
picture.
true.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, should we ask for 2 trees then there?
Sure, the second one can't be as big, right?
I don't think so. This is a smaller area over here.
Yeah. Could do another serviceberry to try to tie it together. Where are the birches and the other row of trees, Laura?
So the birches are all along here. The birches go right along here. And
Okay.
then the other trees is all along here.
Oh, but no, across from the birches was also a row of trees.
Side of that.
Yes, they put They took down the ash trees that had died and put new trees over here as well.
Yeah, but I thought it's hard, if you move your mark over to the
Wait, here,
left.
I'll go to the aerial. Hold on. Oops. Oops. So this is the row of birch trees here. This is the row of the new trees, and there's some new trees over here.
But there's also something right across from the birch trees. I took a picture of it.
Right in here, maybe there's some in here.
No, there's a whole row. There's one row of birches and one row of something else.
Oh,
Where would that be?
so if you were driving into Starbucks here, the birches would be on your left,
Yeah,
and then there's probably trees over here.
yeah, there are trees over there. A row of them. I don't have oh, here's my phone. I took some pictures, but I didn't know what they were. Because there was a row of birch trees and then kind of a row of another type of tree.
Within the same grassy
Well,
area, or
across. So I think
Oh
where
yeah,
those two cars are, I think there's like it just doesn't look right.
here. I'm just gonna oops, I'm gonna do my whole screen. It's always dangerous to do that though. So here's the row of birch trees, Carol, and there
Yeah.
does look like there's another row of something over here.
Yeah, whatever those are.
I don't know what those are. Maybe. Yeah, these birch trees are really nice.
Yeah.
They're
And then,
pretty-
like you said, there's big spots at the end here. For more
Yeah. So like we're saying you could put a tree here, maybe like a little service. Maybe that has to be a shrub because of the lamppost.
Well, and so what I didn't know if they wanted to continue the birch, put one more birch and continue that other row of tree all the way down, or we do something different along the end here. Is that making sense?
Yes, yes. So either put a birch like right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other type of tree. Yeah, and another tree there, but then
Yeah.
go over the other way.
Yeah.
And then if you can get over, yeah, you could do another one of whatever those trees are at the end there. You know what I mean?
So
Yeah, like they could fit another one of those, whatever they are, and then you still had room for another one.
yeah, and then you could have another big tree right here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So continue the row, one more in each row, like 1, 2, then
Yeah.
big tree here and big tree there.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we should be able to do that.
And they could even do the crab apples because there are, I mean, I know those aren't real big trees, but they do kind of tie it in to the other end of the shop, right? Not really, but a little bit.
if you had the same tree in those kind of ovally spots, as you're driving by, it's kind of like a row of
Big tree, big same.
Unless we want to do like 4 across of something, crab apples or service berries across the whole end.
Right, they're showing essentially where these little tufts of grass are would be a serviceberry tree and a serviceberry tree.
Oh, okay. okay.
Then we would say, put a big tree over here and another birch tree here.
Instead of a big tree and a birch tree, if those are the same.
Oh, just make them the same.
Yeah, so like as you're driving by on that stretch there, you know, it's kind of like a row
Or something.
of something like service berries
It's
or.
like when you drive the entrance road, their row of the same
Yeah.
tree, driving this section road.
Because
Birches are so pretty.
they're so pretty.
Yeah, I really like the birches. I wish they had done the other side with birches also, but I don't know.
Um,
what-
They don't have these two planters in there, but we could also maybe request two service berries here and here. That's not even blocking anybody's sign.
Yeah, that would be good.
It's true.
Yeah, and since it's not blocking a sign, you for a bigger tree then?
But a single stem, Laura.
Yep, single stem.
Kind of Uncle Rico's. Be nice to put a tree.
They are proposing a tree in front of Uncle Rico's. I mean, these trees, I think it's funny they don't want to interfere with their signs, but this tree is in front of Uncle Rico's and this one's in front of Super Pets. But I actually really truly don't think it interferes with the signs that much.
Uncle Rico's and Supercuts, you still be able to see part of the sign.
Yeah, I think so.
The Chase it will block out the Chase.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
So the chase sign, I don't know, the chase sign can be like right there.
See, I thought it was the left, said where the TCBY was.
Yeah, this is, yes, and the cleaners. So it's, this was TCBY now,
Just thinking,
and then
okay,
this is the cleaners, and it's actually taking both spots.
see,
But I believe this is gonna be the Chase Bank sign, and this is gonna be like the ATM.
Hmm.
So they may also have some like, you know,
Well, you
ATM.
talked about the ATM, I thought you meant on the other end of the park.
Me
Yeah,
too.
they're gonna have two. They have, they did put the ATM,
Yeah, yeah.
and and they put in those crab apples. Yeah.
Okay, so do we have that decided? Or do we still need to figure out the trees on the other side? Are we,
So I was gonna ask for two more service berries along here, one there
Yeah.
and one there. And then I've got single stem.
Mhm.
I've got continue the line of birches and continue the line of the other trees. Then so the only question I have is, I have a written big tree and big tree. Do we want that to be the same type of tree? Or continue the birches there? What do we think on that?
Let's say continue the birches. There, you know, birches.
Right there. Continue.
You gotta have some continuity.
Spread too. It would be trees.
Yeah, so we'll do continue the birches and then continue this one. Okay, I've got it.
Okay. So we're good for that, right?
So what I'll do is that'll be what we require. If they do that, they can have their permit. If they agree to all of that, if they make changes, then it'll come back to you guys one more time for approval.
Okay,
Unless anybody objects to those.
okay, sounds good.
Okay,
Well, excuse me. Now that we have a quorum, should we go back and approve the meeting minutes?
yeah, I think that would be good.
Okay, so the first is the February 9th. Does anybody have any comments on those? Anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, John's looking.
Line
Okay.
40, which is the top of page, I don't know which page that is, page
Two.
2. The second last word. You should be a Y. It's supposed to be a right.
Oh, yeah. Funny that they didn't get picked up.
If you spell that right.
Okay.
And then lines 5960. I've got two comments. First, I knew the answer is which Mrs. Robertson could be made. I think maybe said could be made as a recommendation.
Yep.
The other comment was don't remember seeing this.
Oh, really?
Mr. Marr pointed out a few locations where tree plantings. I guess that's true. I don't remember it.
Go back to the recording.
Well, what are you talking about?
Yes.
Along the street? Did you say that there were places along Ruffner Road that they could plant street trees?
Oh, wait, Susan was talking about, oh, the Mohawk Golf Club.
Golf club.
Yeah, maybe I did. Maybe I did. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's street.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yes,
Street trees.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay. But,
But it definitely needs the word said.
regular touch base. Okay, so then lines 99 and 100 against about me. But this is under the heading of 3900 State Street. Right, which is the big Kia, Matthew Kia now, right? And the comment is, Mr. Marr recommended basic training for the council so members to identify signs that may signify trees are healthy. I did ask that, but that wasn't related to the Kia thing. That was just a general statement. It'd be nice to get some training so we can identify unhealthy trees. So when a person calls in and says, I think my tree is.
Yeah, I know, we've talked about that a lot. I really think that we should, I mean, we could invite anybody to that training, but we should just get one of those foresters to come
Yeah,
and train
yeah.
us.
But here I'm just saying in the minutes, it's weird to be listed under the 3900 State Street discussion.
Versus someplace else.
We
Yeah.
could get to,
Maybe under new business,
Under
maybe.
new business.
Continuation of dialogue
Right, this is under your thought there. Okay.
subject, but
Yeah, I guess I interrupted.
yeah, I mean, I feel like I think it's okay for it to
Okay.
be in there,
Okay.
but
Okay.
the other places, I think we would move it to maybe like tree planting if we wanted it to be in the flow. Cause we could just move that paragraph down to the tree planting,
Yeah, that's a good place to move it to.
probably right after, like, right before adjournment, we could put that,
Okay.
put it there. You wanna put it there? Okay. So we'll move that paragraph to like line 154. So line of that 69.
90
Lines 121 to 122. Does Ms. Robertson believe this relationship would allow the highway department to preserve trees that have been unnecessarily lost? I'm not sure what was meant by that. I'm saying, how do you preserve a tree that's lost? That's like, it's trees that could have been saved.
Yeah, that should.
Oh, I see, yeah. Would allow the highway department to preserve
Oh, yeah, so
Tree-
instead of have that,
it could be unnecessarily lost or in the past. Yeah.
yeah, that like in the past may have been unnecessarily
Preserve,
lost.
yeah,
So you could say to preserve trees that in the past, have
had been
been
unnecessary.
unnecessarily lost.
But is that really, this was talking about growing the relationship with the highway department. Isn't it just to kind of work more closely with them to,
Yeah,
Yeah, we could just strike that whole sentence. I actually don't mind. I mean, we could go listen to it too. I don't remember saying it. Of course, we reminded you, and I think we just, but
what were we spoke?
it's true. I also think the minutes would be okay to go from line 119, 120. There could be alternate attendance at the tree council. And then Ms. Carey suggested having an extra meeting every couple of months to incorporate the highway department into their decisions. I think that's cleaner and it's fine. So strike lines.
Okay, now a little further down, line 131, the word tree should be trees.
Yep, okay.
See if trees, let's see if they could fit trees in certain spots.
Yep.
Oh, there's another one. This one's line 138. Let's look at how it ends.
Oh, whoops.
Oh.
It's like a line got deleted or something.
Yeah, I will.
Just take off the
Yeah,
minutes.
just take
probably.
off, yeah.
John, what was your previous comment about trees?
There was line 131.
Yeah,
There's a singular word tree.
oh,
I think
gotcha. Okay,
Oh.
yep. Okay,
it's it for these meetings for me.
okay, good. Does anybody else have any comments? John covered all the ones that well, more than the ones I had captured. So with that, does somebody want to make a motion to approve the February 9th meeting minutes? Looks like Amanda. And somebody seconded it.
Just that. I don't think I was here on February.
Who's in attendance? Anybody here about?
I think that's okay.
But Amanda's pointing out she's listed as a member's president.
And it's like a comment
From
that
you
I made
in the minutes?
further down, but I
This must have been a weird meeting.
I feel like this is from an
This was the one where we
April.
had the people,
All the people from the Mohawk Club come, Amanda. Were you here for that?
yeah.
okay.
That's the one. Okay. So
Yeah.
Amanda made a motion. Anybody want a second? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, those meeting minutes have passed. Next we'll move to April 20th. Did anyone have any comments on those? John?
Yeah, here's one. Line 67. I'm just confused. I just put a question mark. Ms. Robertson said she would look into seeing if there were more available town employees to help bring table. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
because do you remember we pulled them in and out last year?
Yeah. There's several sentences about tables, so I thought the second sentence about tables was about town employees to help with table. Yeah, okay. That's fine. I have no problem with that one.
I had a comment on line 98, just a
Yeah.
misspelling reports.
You don't think they really meant no repots?
Wait, what was the line?
98.
Oh, 98. Oops.
Oh,
Okay.
we're talking plants and flowers, trees. I just think they remember there was no repotting.
Any other comments, John, or anyone else?
That's it.
That's it. Okay. Somebody want to make a motion to approve the April meeting minutes? Okay, second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor approving the meeting minutes, say aye.
All right.
Aye. Okay, so the April meeting minutes are approved. So next, we covered the new business. The next is the discussion item, planning department, project updates.
So the planning department's still really working through the Mohawk Golf Club and a couple other projects that you've already provided comments on. So right now there's kind of a pause for tree council input, but I did see in the minutes that we were talking about doing a site walk at the Mohawk Golf Club if needed. I don't know that we need to do it yet. So so that one I'll let you know. And then just otherwise, there haven't been a lot of new projects that were submitted. So, it could be a good time for us to do our own project, like while there's a little bit of downtime with the planning board. Like if we wanted to pick a street and come up with a planting plan for the street. I know Carol talked to National Grid, or one of you guys was talking to National Grid,
Yeah.
and basically like come up with a plan. So I know we don't have Amy, but if we're not gonna have, I think over the next meeting or two, I don't see, I mean, it could change, but I really don't see a lot of planning projects coming down the next month or two. So it may be a good time for us to take on, just a street and see if we can plant some trees, for the fall or something. I was just building off of our list of accomplishments for 2022. And I was trying to go backward from it because I'm going down to DOT tomorrow to talk about, what we do for our tree planting plan. And, like Ray and Cornelius, the elms at Blatnick Park, the Dean Street planting, the elms that we planted at the parks last year. Like if you rack them all up, it's pretty impressive. So I feel like if we wanted to do one this year, to give
Maybe
it a
it's
shot.
room for Hillside.
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we can talk about that. So what we really need to do is maybe if we have no planning agenda items at the next meeting, like we just do a site pre-council meeting and we can just like go there with maps and little like mark up our ideas for trees and how many we would need and what kind. And then we could submit that to Ray and the town board and see if they would let us do a street again this year.
Yeah, and I think I sent out to everybody about that 10,000 tree program. I was talking to Dwayne Dickinson at the Arbor Day, and he said, if we use the trees that are listed and if we plant under utility lines, we can get $50 back for every tree. And this is even in the past. So what the highway department, he even said we could get additional money, he thought, for the Dean Street planting, because we got money from that grant for that tornado. But if we planted them under utilities, under his program, we could get an additional $50 back for each tree that fit that, fit those qualifications, was under a utility line and was one of the recommended trees on the list. So even if the highway department in the last year or so has planted some trees under public utility lines, we can go back and get money for that. And then he says you use it for the trees coming forward, you get $50 back. And it's kind of like, he said, you're not utilizing it like you could, Carol, that our town could be utilizing it. So
Nick actually did use the 10,000 trees and growing program for that.
yeah.
But I could be wrong, but I thought that Nick with the Soil County and Water was actually using his program. But I can double check with Nick. But maybe the issue is it's different because that was related to the downdraft and Nick was really not planting under power lines on Dean Street.
Yeah.
They're in the backyards.
So, but I'm sure some of our highway department trees have been planted under.
Yeah, I think that's really good to check. And I just wanted to bring up Hillside to see if there are power lines at Hillside. And there are power lines at Hillside. I mean, when you look at this, you could plant a gazillion trees here. In the right of way, there's so much room for trees. Like, I would say that that's a very easy place that we could go and do a project. Yeah, that's as wide open as it gets in our right of way.
Yeah.
There's some trees you can see when you get way down to here. This is a pretty nice row of trees.
Yeah, I think they put them in when they redid the army facility there.
This is
Oh,
like
I'll have to check
the
with,
power lines are on the other street, but down here there were more power lines,
I'll have to check with Matt where the utilities are.
and we'd have to check where the utilities are.
So I'm sure I might do this again, but where does the funding come?
Usually, we have to get approval from the highway department because they have about $12,000 to $13,000 a year for new plantings. Well, like 6,000 for a replacement and like 6,000 for new plantings.
But this could offset their costs a little bit, at least.
Yeah, like we could come up with a plan and show National Grid where the power lines were and see what they would give us funding for. And yeah, it would definitely offset some of that. Because especially if we went with smaller trees, like if
Yeah.
we went with smaller trees and then they were only like $150 a tree and then we could get $50 back, you could get a lot more trees there. And Also, just another thing that would be sort of nice about Hillside is you're not working with as many landowners. That's like, that's like Iroquois Village, Trelleborg, and the Army Place. And you could put a lot of trees there.
Couple residents on.
And
the
some
other
residents on
side,
this side, yeah.
But they're far between.
Yeah, well, these are where you get more of the reimbursements, like over here though.
Yeah, I think that's a good direction to go in.
I'm supportive of that. So maybe when we get a sense of what our agenda is gonna be at the next meeting, if it looks okay, maybe we'll bring some maps and just start mapping out that road.
We'll create a map with the utilities. And check where they
Mhm.
are.
That's
Yeah. Cause it would be lovely to put 5 plants in front of that house, but
But-
that's where the sewer line.
Yeah,
Right,
so
right.
we'll have to put that.
Yeah.
But maybe we could get the businesses to help us fund some too. Who knows? You could fit a lot of trees on that road.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have for the planning department.
Okay, great. You just reminded me of one other thing. Well, what we could go on for, yeah. So the next is a public outreach subcommittee, and the first is the Arbor Day, just kind of how we thought it went. Any thoughts for improvement for next year? What do people think? So I think we had more people than we ever did. And they all came at the beginning. Well, what was nice is there were people right till the end visiting booths, which I thought was good. And the booth, I reached out to all of the booth people after the event, and everybody has said they would love to come back next year. So that's nice. Laura, there wasn't anything in the paper. Do you know what happened there?
Don't know. No, I'm not
Does
sure why that.
This would have been a good event to publicize, in the our Niskuna.
Climate warriors.
What
but
was
not-
that?
The paper ran a story about the climate warriors planting, but not our Arbor Day.
Yeah. Because that's our biggest event, and it's a good way to get word
Publicize
out
it.
to the community as to what we're doing. And it's kind of hard to do it after the fact now. Who do we have to contact? What do we have to do? Because I think we missed it last year too, Laura.
I normally contact, there's normally a local reporter, like for your Niskayuna, which I would usually reach out to. Last year we didn't have one. But this year I think we do have one again. So, I mean, although like I agree with you, it'd be hard to run the story now. I don't know if another tree story comes up or something, maybe we could tie it into how successful our Arbor Day was. And then just reach out to the paper and be like, hey, here's 2 things that are cool. I don't know.
I think that should be part of our event, that we always get the publicity beforehand and after. I think would really help a lot. I'm sorry, did somebody say something?
Spreadsheet.
in your spreadsheet.
Your Arbor Day planning spreadsheet.
It's on the spreadsheet. We had it on there to contact the Gazette.
Yeah, we talked about it a couple times. I
Yeah.
thought the Gazette was contacted with the press releases, but I think probably what I need to reach out to them directly, I'd say. Next time. Because we did press releases on Arbor Day.
The press releases, though, are just the emails, right?
No, we did an actual press release that goes to the press. It's the press release is different than the email blast.
And so what happens with that press release?
I think it doesn't go to the public actually. It goes to like the Gazette, the Times Union, just the local news organizations around.
Okay.
It's actually literally a release to the press of information. It's
Okay.
totally different than our email blast, and it was written different too. But
Yeah.
I think I probably need to reach out to them directly.
Yeah, whoever the Niskuna reporter is, I think if we can establish a relationship with them, because I think they like to run these things about our different events. Didn't they do the photo contests one time? They wrote up about that, and which is nice. But I mean, the Arbor Day is the big event where we,
They published the top photos in the Gazette.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what a the other thing is I talked to Nick from the Schenectady Soil and Water Conservation Department afterwards, and he said if we want to order trees from him next year, we can let him know in the fall exactly what we want, and he can order exactly what we want, and it's at a discount versus going through the sale in the spring and just using the regular order form, particularly because we order so many. So we should definitely do that this fall, because again, it would save us money and we could get exactly what we wanted.
Yep. I'm gonna put that in my calendar.
Okay.
More small trees.
Yeah, because I think we could still have more. We gave away all of them, and there were still people coming and asking, and I did not do a single duplicate.
It was like 30 minutes there.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't like
No, I know. We really didn't have any left in the last hour.
with the publicity, it seems like something thought needs to be given to that
To having more trees.
a lot more.
Yeah,
It's kind of even city. It was really impressive.
you know it was. Yes.
But there were a lot of people who were
Anyone have a sense why this was so much more popular than previous years?
Because it was raining. You said it would be inside.
standing outside.
It's true.
I think it's just getting more well known each year.
Yeah, it grows.
Yeah.
This was a big jump. You know, previous year they get more popular. This was like
Well, we were
skyrocketed.
squished compared to last year out on the grounds.
Yeah, we had
What is the fact the number of trees you gave away?
the same number last year.
But they didn't grab as many trees.
We didn't have any trees left over last year.
You were giving away 2 trees at
Oh,
a time.
we
If
were-
I didn't,
we were-
11, when 12:30 all around. Here we didn't even make it to 12.
And we didn't do any doubles.
And people, well,
Did.
I did one by accident and there's other people must have been. Linda caught me giving us, she came up to.
The wife would go to the other table.
Well, that
And you see them walking together and you know the family got to.
well, there isn't really that much we can do about that.
Looking some previous years, because outside, there's no parents.
Yeah. What did people think about having the trees with the booths? Did that work out or?
To draw people to the booths also. In addition to picking up their trees. Especially it being inside.
I think when there was a huge rush, people were just grabbing their trees and it didn't matter that the vendor was right next to them. But once it calmed down, I thought it was really nice to have the mixture of the vendors with the trees, because when people were walking around at a more leisurely pace, they were definitely like picking up their tree and then talking to the vendor.
Yeah, I do think there was more vendor interaction this year than last year. And I don't know if it was because of the trees or you're indoors or both, but yeah,
And I thought that the silent wings were amazing. I liked them so much. They were very cool.
yeah, I think that was a big draw.
Yeah. I wonder if that's why we had the big bump up. Because we had the raptors. I don't know. It was very cool. Those raptors are very cool.
So then they said they'd be willing to come back next year also. So, and one person said, it was the best Arbor Day event. One of the vendors said it was the best Arbor Day event he's attended, and he's attended many. So with different communities. So that was nice.
Yay! Good job, Carol. Everybody.
So,
Good work.
Yeah, we're joking.
yeah, good job, everyone. We needed everybody and then some on Saturday to help at the various booths. And Linda, thanks for the Girl Scouts. They seem to get activity there. So
Even the Daisy showed up unexpectedly. So we had them walking around the crowd, handing out coloring sheets. But I think they were just walking around with their uniform on. They're too small to walk the kids. Maybe they were going up to kids and handing them sheets. I didn't see that.
well, that's all I had. Anything else on Arbor Day, or we can move on to the tree inventory, tree master plan?
And disturbed that there weren't any trees, and she asked, why don't we hold on to some trees for people who come later? And I think I remember when I first joined the tree council, I thought you guys were actually talking about this. Yeah. I don't know if my memory's right.
Sort of first come, first served. But I mean, I guess you could kind of say,
It's tricky because you have to turn some people down.
Yeah, right.
Turning
Yeah.
down people who came earlier.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah. Yeah.
People don't come later.
Right. Then you're stuck
lot
with
of
trees. Yeah. Call people back.
like,
Yeah. Okay.
I guess you could advertise like a tree release at 12 and another tree release at like 1 or something, but still, I don't know.
Seems like
It gets back to the publicity. It's clear from the publicity that
It's first come, first served, which it always is.
And that's why we have such a long line. I don't know if people saw, but
Yeah, we
Amy
have-
did post on Instagram, and she posted a video of the line before the start, going out the door, down the sidewalk, down the other sidewalk. So if you're not on Instagram, you should join Niski. It's Niski Trees, and she posted a lot of photos from the event. So, but the video is impressive because it just shows how long the line is. So,
Do you guys remember how long the car line was when we did our COVID giveaway? Like, I got in really big trouble for that.
yeah, that was out of control. That we had no idea.
People do like their trees.
My house, there's cars lined up.
I got yelled at by the police for that one. And even though that's been multiple years since that happened, I had a town board member come up to me before this meeting. Like, you've worked out how the cars are gonna queue, right, Laura?
Although we were running out of space in the parking lot.
We're running out of parking. There's no question about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were.
We might have to, if we were gonna do it at town hall, I think we might have to coordinate parking because our engineer ended up having to go out and directing the cars and making sure people were parking in the library.
Well, and also, I don't know if you heard this, Laura, but I was talking to the town supervisor, and she said she was actually there at the start, but she was helping with parking. And
Yes.
she heard it. She heard, who was it? John Del Rada.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh shoot, I didn't get in time because she was out there helping park cars."
Yeah, she did say that. Yeah. So I think we should have a better parking plan next time too.
Yeah.
I continue to like having it here at the town hall for the weather options.
That worked out so well. Because if we were going to be outside on that Saturday, that would have been not so miserable. So,
Yeah, I think maybe the Raptors and then the last minute email saying, "Don't worry about the rain, we're gonna have it inside," potentially brought the rest that kicked those numbers up a little bit.
mhm.
But I think if we do what Carol's saying, where we order the trees with soil and water in the fall, we should be able to order more. So, because we have a budget, but I think that'll make our budget go much farther.
And if anybody can think of anything new to add for next year, like the like the Raptors. It's always good to try to come up with something new. So, well, that's all I had on the public outreach. How about tree inventory and tree master plan?
Yeah, I say this at every meeting and I'm really sorry. I'm gonna try at the next meeting, but that's on me and I've got to get some stuff back out to you guys so we can wrap that up.
Okay.
No box this year.
No, no repots.
And what about the tree planting subcommittee?
So the only thing I wanted to mention on that is the Climate Warriors update. They were able to plant a tree without us funding it, so that was nice. I think the school bought it for them. And they planted a tree on Arbor Day. They did get some press on it, which was very nice. They are looking to plant a few more, so I was trying to put them in contact with Nick at Soil and Water.
Have you done that, Laura?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Okay.
I actually reached out to Nick twice, and then I talked to him about it at the Arbor Day.
Okay.
So hopefully that works out. And then the only other thing I said is, just from following up on the minutes that we had before, like if maybe on the tree planting subcommittee, like Leo and Jeff and I, like if we just think of a time to meet with the highway department and we can just touch bases with them on maybe just, are they doing any spring planting? Do they need any help? And then our idea for Hillside, we could pitch to them.
And pitch them the idea that, would they get the money back, the $50?
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a win for them. So, and if they go back in the past year or so, they can get money now for trees they've planted.
Yeah, so we should bring that up with them too.
Yeah. So you can invite me, and if I'm available, I'll come to that also, Laura.
Okay, I'll invite you too.
Okay.
We invite a highway rep for our next meeting since we don't necessarily have any planning.
Let's invite one to the next one too.
Okay.
We use that opportunity to address the backlog of the street tree planting.
I do think we need to bring that up with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's start off slow with them.
Right.
We don't want to,
Right.
we don't want to frighten them when they,
Right. Yeah.
our first meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
I was curious about Niska Day. Is there?
Oh, Niska Day.
Yeah, that's May 20th. Next weekend?
11th. Yeah. 9 days in
I don't think we've really thought about that.
Sometimes we've had a booth. Yeah, there has been. One time Carol bought a tree, I think all on her own and raffled it out at Niska Day. And
Well,
you got a lot of traffic, didn't you?
One time I dug up all those little tree seedlings in my woods.
Yes. So she was
but-
giving away little baby white pines.
But we haven't done that in a while, and it would be good to do, but I don't know if we can pull it together. We haven't applied for a booth. It's next week. It's the 20th. And we'd have to man it. I'm going to be out of town.
Yeah, I won't be able to help next weekend with the booth. Stephanie.
Let's put it on a list for next year.
Yeah, I think with our limited numbers and everybody just getting through Arbor Day, it's maybe if we have a fuller council next year, we can make sure we plan for both. But our focus kind of was on Arbor Day, and we haven't really applied for the booth at Niska Day, but it's a good idea. So
I'm just thinking out loud now, but if we order more trees next year and the turnout isn't as high, maybe we could get a little money for soil and pots and just, I don't mind bringing them to my house and watering them, and then we could give the rest away at Niska Day if we still had some left over.
I don't think we're gonna have trees left
Never
over
have any left
at
over.
Arbor Day.
Because I do remember it being super cool when you dug up all your little white pines. They were white pines, weren't they?
Yeah, well, there were various things in the woods. I
Anyway,
think there were hemlocks and white pines and a few different types, so.
You
Um,
helped, didn't you? Or did Andrea? Somebody helped you pot them, didn't they?
um,
Maybe it's
maybe,
Andrea.
or Melissa was,
Melissa,
dropped off
you.
pots, yeah,
I think she did.
so,
Okay. Well, that's a side. That's a side. But yeah, we could try and do it next year.
okay. So I think that's everything. Does anybody else have anything else to add? Okay, does somebody want to make a motion then to adjourn? Okay, second. Okay, thank you all. And I guess our next meeting's June 8th.
You feel better, Carol?
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
He said it's just a cold. But colds can be really